Hi everyone, and welcome to a big book haul. I've got 3 stacks here, total of 59 books to tell you about. Had a little bit of trouble this month, did a lot of book shopping to try and boost my mood and stuff, and yeah, the temporary serotonin was great, but yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this. There's only one more book that I'm expecting, but it's one that my mom owned and she's giving it to me because she's not going to reread it. She says it was a very difficult read as far as the content and stuff because it was very much war related and certain other issues with like World War II. So she said it was a hard read. She will not reread it. She thinks I'll like it, so she is going to give it to me. But I'll include that in a haul for September because she's not going to give it to me until she has her meeting with her book club because she read it for a book club, and I'm not sure when that's going to be. But I want to get these books put away, and I'm not expecting any others. So let's go ahead and delve into this. I'm going to start with the stack at the back, and then we'll move forward. And let's go ahead and just get into this. And obviously, let me know if you've read any of these. So the first one I'm going to tell you about is Pestilence. This was a cover by, I actually saw one that's a little later on in the series that I absolutely loved the cover for, but then it was like book number 3 in the series. So obviously I'm not going to buy book 3 without getting book 1. I did not get book 3. I only bought book 1 to see if I even like the writing. But so I got this one, and then if I like it, I'll get the next ones. So it says, they came to Earth, pestilence, war, famine, and death. Or maybe it was book 4. Anyway, 4 horsemen riding their screaming steeds, racing to the corners of the world. 4 horsemen with the power to destroy all of humanity. They came to Earth, and they came to end us all. When Pestilence, the first of the horsemen, comes for Sarah Burns' town, one thing is certain. Everyone she knows and loves is marked for death. Unless, of course, the angelic-looking horseman is stopped, which is exactly what Sarah has in mind when she shoots the unholy beast off his steed. Too bad no one told her Pestilence can't be killed. Alive and furious, the horseman takes Sarah prisoner, determined to make her suffer for impeding his mission. Despite her pleas, nothing and no one gets in the way of his orders to destroy humankind. Only the longer Pestilence spends beside Sarah's bravery and compassion, the more he seems to understand her and humanity. And the longer Sarah travels with Pestilence and his plague, the more uncertain she grows about his true feelings toward her and hers toward him. Sarah might still be able to save the world, but she'll have to sacrifice her heart in the process. Okay. Alright, so that's the first one. This next one, and that was at Barnes & Noble. This was from Barnes & Noble as well. This one I have read from the author before, and that's Jenna Evans Welch. I read Love and Gelato. I have the other 2 books in the series I got for my birthday or for Christmas this last December, I want to say. But then I saw this and thought the cover was really pretty. So this is Spells for Lost Things. Really like the cover of this. It says, Willow has never felt like she belonged anywhere, and is convinced that the only way to find a true home is to travel the world. Something she plans to do as soon as possible. But her plans are pushed aside when her aloof and often absent mother drags her to her hometown of Salem, Massachusetts, to help wrap up the affairs of an aunt who has just died. An aunt Willow didn't even know she had. Mason has also felt like he's never belonged anywhere, but that might be because he's been in and out of foster homes his entire life. Stuck in Salem for a short time, Mason fully intends to escape from his new foster family and get back to his mom, wherever she may be. But when he meets Willow, he can't help but be pulled into her infectious desire to uncover the history behind her mother's secretive past in Salem, her mysterious aunt who may or may not be a witch, and the centuries-old curse on her family. As the 2 explore the notorious coastal town, make their way from one ancient ivy-covered house to the next, and visit too many New Age shops, they venture unexpectedly into a heartwarming romance. The universe seems to have brought the 2 of them together for something special, if only they can summon up the courage to discover what that something is. So that sounds really sweet. So this next one I got was from the young readers section. So this is like a middle grade. Yes, because it wasn't YA, so it's in the middle grade section. And this is a graphic novel, and I got it just because it's cats. Now, I did see at Maria's Bookshop in Durango, Colorado, I have seen the second and the third one, but they did not have the first one. So I have already known about this series, but then I forgot about it. Otherwise, I probably would have just ordered the first book. But I was at Barnes & Noble and they had this one, which when I look at the adult graphic novel manga section, it's very common at my local Barnes & Noble for them to have books 2, usually book 3 or later, and generally not have the first book in the series. But anyway, this one was in the younger readers, and this is Katie and the Cat Sitter, number 1. This is by, Colleen A.F. Venable and Stephanie Yu. So, and it's just cats. It says, Katie is dreading the summer ahead, while her best friends will be away at camp. But when Katie gets a job cat sitting for her upstairs neighbor Madeline, things get interesting. For starters, Madeline has 217 cats, and they're not exactly regular cats. Plus, Madeline only seems to go out exactly when the mousetress, the city's most notorious villain, commits a crime. Could it be that Katie's neighbor is really a supervillain, and that it's up to Katie to wrangle a whole lot of wayward cats, save a best friendship, and crack the biggest story in this city's history? So, it's about cats. I don't need to say any more about that, so that's why I got that. Okay, so this next one is a young adult, and this one is called The Cabin. So, I saw one that was called The Cellar, like basement cellar area, but for whatever reason, this is the one I grabbed. And totally drawn in from the cover. So this is by Natasha Preston, and this is a standalone. It says, they think they're invincible. They think they can do and say whatever they want. They think there are no consequences. They've left me no choice. It's time for them to pay for their sins. A weekend partying at a remote cabin is just what Mackenzie needs. She can't wait to let loose with her friends, but a crazy night of fun leaves 2 of them dead, murdered. With no signs of a forced entry or struggle, suspicion turns to the 5 survivors. Someone isn't telling the truth, and Mackenzie's first mistake, assuming the killing is over. It says, don't miss these high-stake thrillers from Wattpad sensation Natasha Preston. So I'm not sure what Wattpad is. If you know, let me know. I don't know. I just care that the book sounds good. So that's all I'm for. Now, these next ones I got from Amazon, and these are a series. So I had points, and I went ahead and got them. So the first book in the series was like $11. But then with the points that I had, this was on sale, and I was able to get this whole series for $15. 15. So less than what it would have cost for 2 of the books. I got the whole series. And you can read these in any order. I did confirm that. I did read that, so I will read the synopsis for all of these books. And that is the Bridgerton series. I have not seen the series, but it sounds good. But I want to read the books before I watch the series. So the first one is called The Duke and I, and these are by Julia Quinn. And I think these are all movie tie-ins because it does have the Netflix thing there. So, The Duke and I. Let's see. Can there be any greater challenge to London's ambitious mamas than an unmarried duke? Lady Whistledown Society Papers, April 1813. By all accounts, Simon Bissett is on the verge of proposing to his best friend's sister, the lovely and almost on the shelf Daphne Bridgerton. But the 2 of them know the truth. It's all an elaborate plan to keep Simon free from marriage-minded society mothers. And as for Daphne, surely she will attract some worthy suitors now that the Duke has declared her desirable. Their ruse works like a charm, at first. But Daphne waltzes across ballroom after ballroom with Simon. It's hard to remember that their courtship is a complete sham. Maybe it's his devilish smile. Certainly it's the way his eyes seem to burn every time he looks at her. It wasn't the plan, but it seems she's falling for the Duke. For real. And amidst the glittering, gossipy, cutthroat world of London's elite, there is only one certainty. Love ignores every rule. So that is The Duke and I. Okay, book number 2 is called The Viscount Who Loved Me. And I actually do, usually I don't care for movie tie-in covers or show tie-in covers, but I actually like these. I think the artists that did these did a good job. 1814 promises to be another eventful season, but not, this author believes, for Anthony Bridgerton. Okay. Let's see. London's mostly elusive bachelor who has shown no indication that he plans to marry. And in all truth, why should he? When it comes to playing the consummate rake, nobody does it better. According to Lady Whistleton's Society Papers. Oh, okay. April 1814. All right. Having spent his 20s in a rakish pursuit of pleasure, Anthony Bridgerton knows it's high time to settle down and ensured the continuation of the Bridgerton line. Edwina Sheffield is the most beautiful debutante of the current season. She is sweet, innocent, and eminently biddable. Anthony is sure she'll make a perfectly acceptable wife and vows to make her his. The only obstacle in his way is Edwina's older sister Kate, who is determined to do all she can to allow her sister the chance to marry for love rather than convenience. The roguish Viscount is beginning to think he may have met his match in Kate's keen wit and sharp tongue. Until that is, he makes the mistake of kissing her. Okay. Book number 3 is called An Offer from a Gentleman. This year's most sought-after invitation must surely be that of the Bridgerton Masquerade Ball, to be held Monday next. Will some fortunate young lady use the mystery of a masquerade night to snare one of the eligible bachelors? Lady Whistleton Society Papers, May 1815. Sophie Beckett never dreamt she would sneak into Lady Bridgerton's famed masquerade ball, or that Prince Charming would be waiting there for her. Though the daughter of an earl, Sophie had been relegated to the role of servant by her disdainful stepmother. But that night, spinning in the strong arms of the debonair and devastatingly handsome Benedict Bridgerton, she felt like royalty, yet she knows all enchantment must end. But Sophie has reckoned without Benedict's determined heart. He has sworn to find and wed his mystery miss, for he knows this is his only chance for a fairy tale love. This sounds like it's a Cinderella retelling. So, but that's what it sounds like to me. Okay, book 4 is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. Everyone knows that Colin Bridgerton is the most charming man in London. Ugh, this one's hurting my eyes because of the yellow on the back. Penelope Featherington has secretly adored her best friend's brother for, well, it feels like forever. After half a lifetime of watching Colin from afar, she thinks she knows everything about him, until she stumbles across his deepest secret, and fears she doesn't know him at all. Colin Bridgerton is tired of being thought of as nothing but an empty-headed charmer, tired of the notorious gossip columnist Lady Whistleton, who can't seem to publish an edition without mentioning him. But when Colin returns to London from a trip abroad, he discovers nothing in his life is quite the same, especially Penelope Featherington. The girl who is always simply there is suddenly the girl haunting his dreams. When he discovers that Penelope has secrets of her own, Colin must decide, is she the biggest threat or his promise of a happy ending? These all sound really good. Okay, next up is number 5, which is To Sir Philip with Love. And this one says, Dear Miss Bridgerton, we have been corresponding now for quite some time, and although we have never formally met, I feel as if I know you. Forgive me if I am too bold, but I am writing to invite you to visit me here at Romney Hall. It is my hope that we might decide that we will suit, and you will consent to be my wife. Did he think she was mad? Eloise Bridgerton couldn't marry a man she had never met. But then she started thinking and wondering, and before she knew it, she was on her way to meet the man she hoped might be her perfect match. Except he wasn't. Ooh. Her perfect husband wouldn't be so moody and ill-mannered, and while Philip was certainly handsome, he was rough and rugged, totally unlike the London gentleman vying for her hand. But when he kissed her, the rest of the world simply fell away. Could this imperfect man be perfect for her? I bet the answer to that would be yes. Okay, book number 6 is called When He Was Wicked. In every life, there is a turning point, a moment so tremendous, so sharp and breathtaking that one knows one's life will never be the same. For Michael Sterling, London's most infamous bachelor, that moment came the first time he laid eyes on Francesca Bridgerton. After a lifetime of chasing women, of smiling slyly as they chased him, of allowing himself to be caught but never permitting his heart to become engaged, he took one look at Francesca Bridgerton and fell so fast and hard in love it was a wonder he managed to remain standing. Unfortunately for Michael, however, Francesca's surname was to remain Bridgerton for a mere 36 hours longer. The occasion of their meeting was lamentably a supper celebrating her imminent wedding to his cousin. Okay, book number 7 is called It's in His Kiss. Really like that dress that she has. All the 10 agree there is no one quite like Hyacinth Bridgerton. Fiendishly smart, devilishly outspoken, and, according to some, particularly one Gareth St. Clair, probably the best in small doses. But there's something about her, something charming and vexing that grabs one and won't let go. Gareth and Hyacinth cross paths at the annual and annually discordant Smythe Smith musicale. To Hyacinth, Gareth's every word seems a dare, and she offers to help him out with a naughty inheritance problem he's facing. Like not naughty, but naughty as in like a knot tied. Let's see. However, as they delve into the mysterious St. Clair history, they discover that the answers they seek lie not in the past, but in each other, and that there is nothing as simple or as complicated as a single perfect kiss. Okay, and the final official book in the series is called On the Way to the Wedding, or at least this is book 8. Unlike the most men of his acquaintance, Gregory Bridgerton is a firm believer in true love. He has reason to be. All 7 of his siblings are happily married. Gregory is certain he is just biding his time until the right woman comes along. And so when he sees Hermione Watson, he knows with every fiber of his being that she is meant to be his. But through Hermione's closest and slightly less beautiful friend, Lucy Abernathy, he finds out that Hermione is desperately in love with another man. Sadly, by the time Gregory figures out the right girl is actually the wrong girl, and the right girl was Lucy all along, it's too late. Lucy is to marry another. Now, on the way to the wedding, Gregory must figure out how to thwart the nuptials and convince Lucy that she was always meant to be his. These sound really good. They sound good. Okay. This last one I have in the Bridgerton world is called The Bridgertons Happily Ever After. And this is a collection of short stories. Once upon a time, an author created a family, but not just any family. 8 brothers and sisters, assorted in-laws, sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, not to mention an overweight corgi, plus an irresistible matriarch. But these are the Bridgertons. Through 8 best-selling novels, readers laughed, cried, and fell in love, but they wanted more. And so the readers asked the author, what happened next? Does Simon ever find his father's letters, etc.? Does the end really have to be the end? This is a collection of Julia Quinn's funny, heartwarming second epilogues, which are included at the ends of each novel, plus a brand new novella about none other than the wise and witty matriarch Violet Bridgerton herself. So, novella and second epilogue for each book. So that's the Bridgerton series that I got for $15. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, let's move on to this next stack. So I've got them here, moved to the side, and just a few down here at the bottom. So this first one I'm going to tell you about is Tender is the Flesh, and this has made its rounds on BookTube, and it always sounds really good, and I'm always intrigued. So I finally went ahead and caved and got myself a copy. This is by Agustina Bastarrica, I'm guessing. I don't know how to say that. It says, and I've heard this gets really gory, like body horror, which I'm looking forward to that. Working at the local processing plant, Marcos is in the business of slaughtering humans, though no one calls them that anymore. His wife has left him, his father is sinking into dementia, and Marcos tries not to think too hard about how he makes a living. After all, it happened so quickly. First, it was reported that an infectious virus has made all animal meat poisonous to humans. Then, governments initiated the transition. Now eating human meat, special meat, is legal. Marcos tries to stick to numbers, consignments, processing. Then one day he's given a gift, a live specimen of the finest quality. Though he's aware that any form of personal contact is forbidden on pain of death, little by little he starts to treat her like a human being, and soon he becomes tortured by what has been lost and what might still be saved. So, tender is the flesh. Yeah. Okay. Next, I have Kiss the Sky, written by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Now, this is part of a series. I don't remember if this is part of the Calloway Sisters series or the Addicted series. I am not sure, but Kiss the Sky. You know what? I'm wondering if it says it in the front of the book. This is... Okay, so this is part... Okay, so it has a recommended reading order. I have read Addicted to You, which is the first in the series, and Kiss the Sky, this is recommended to be read fourth in the series. So, let's see. Yeah. Anyway, this one says, Rose Calloway thought she had everything under control. At 23, she's a Princeton graduate, an academic bowl champion, a fashion designer, and the daughter of a Fortune 500 mogul. And Addicted follows a different sister. So this is from a different perspective. Anyway, continuing on, it says, but not everything comes easy. When Rose's fashion line is in peril, she plans an unconventional solution to save it. Making matters more intense, she agrees to be in a relationship with her godly college rival, Connor Cobalt. At 24, Connor Cobalt bulldozes weak men. Confident and smart as hell, Connor vows to help Rose outside and inside the bedroom. But melting this ice queen is a challenge no one has been able to succeed at, and now they are living together. So, Kiss the Sky. Okay, next I have is Ricochet, also by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This one's shorter than the other one, and it's recommended to read this one second. Yes, second. So this one should be the next one that I read. This one does say it's friends to lovers. Cravings and fantasies become her new routine. But while Lauren Hale recovers from his alcohol addiction, Lily wonders if he'll realize what a monster she really is. After all, her sexual compulsions begin to rule her life the longer she stays faithful to him. Progress. That's what Lily's striving for. But by trying to become closer to her family, people who aren't aware of her addiction, she creates larger obstacles. When she spends time with her youngest sister, she learns more about her than she ever imagined and senses an unsettling connection between Daisy and Reich Meadows. With Lily and Lo's dysfunctional relationship teetering on unbalanced, they will need to find a way to reconnect from miles apart. But the inability to touch proves to be one of the hardest tests on their road to recovery. Some love brushes the surface. Some love is deeper than the skin. Lily and Lo have 3 months to discover just how deep their love really goes. And so Lo is addicted to alcohol and Lily is addicted to sex. Both big addictions. So they both have some big addictions to work through. Okay, this next one down here is called Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. So it says, we can swallow our fear or let our fear swallow us. Single mother Katie Reese is on the run, determined to improve life for herself and her son, Christopher. She flees an abusive relationship in the middle of the night with her child. Together, they'll find themselves drawn to the tight-knit community of Mill Grove, Pennsylvania. It's as far off the beaten track as they can get. Just one highway in, one highway out. At first, it seems like the perfect place to finally settle down. Then Christopher vanishes. For 6 long days, no one can find him, until Christopher emerges from the woods at the edge of town, unharmed but not unchanged. He returns with a voice in his head only he can hear, with a mission only he can complete. Build a treehouse in the woods by Christmas, or his mother and everyone in the town will never be the same again. Okay, next I have a book by Christina Lauren, and this is Love and Other Words, a complete cover buy for me. Yeah, there we go. I just really like this cover. I think it's really cute. It says, Macy Sorensen is setting into an ambitious, if emotionally tepid routine. Work hard as a new pediatrics resident. Plan her wedding to an older, financially secure man. Keep her head down and heart tucked away. But when she runs into Elliot Petropoulos, the first and only love of her life, the careful bubble she's constructed begins to dissolve. Once upon a time, Elliot was Macy's entire world, growing from her gangly, bookish friend into the man who coaxed her heart open again, only to break it on the very night he declared his love for her. Told in alternating timelines between then and now, teenage Elliot and Macy grow from friends to much more, spending weekends and lazy summers together in a house outside San Francisco devouring books, sharing favorite words, and talking through their growing pains and triumphs. As adults, they have become strangers to one another until their chance reunion. Although their memories are obscured by the agony of what happened that night so many years ago, Elliot will come to understand the truth behind Macy's decade-long silence, and will have to overcome the past and himself to revive her faith in the possibility of an all-consuming love. Okay, next up I have a lot of these just drew me in by the cover, and this is one of them. Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa, I'm guessing is how that one is said. And this has like that buttery, velvety type cover. Oh, love it. So this one says, for the past 7 years, Callie has been wearing a bracelet of black beads up her wrist, magical IOUs for favors she once received. Only death or repayment will fulfill her obligations. Everyone knows that if you need a favor, you go to the bargainer to make it happen. He's a man who can get you anything you want at a price. And everyone knows that sooner or later he always collects. But for Callie, he's never asked for repayment. Not until now. When Callie finds the bargainer in her room, a grin on his lips and a twinkle in his eye, she knows things are about to change. At first, it's admitting a truth, a single bead's worth, acknowledging the attraction between them. But the bargainer is after more than just rekindling their connection. Something is happening in the other world. Fae warriors are going missing one by one, and only the women are returned, each in a glass casket, a child clutched to their breast. For the bargainer to save his people, he'll need the help from a siren he spurned long ago, if she can forgive him. So Callie is a siren. Next, I have A Touch of Darkness by Charlotte St. Clair. I have seen this cover I don't know how many times, and I finally was just like, you know what? Let's do it. It says, Persephone is the goddess of spring in title only. Since she was a little girl, flowers have only shriveled at her touch. After moving to New Athens, she hoped to lead an unassuming life disguised as a mortal journalist. All of that changed when she sits down in a forbidden nightclub to play a hand of cards with a hypnotic and mysterious stranger. Hades, god of the dead, has built a gambling empire in the mortal world, and his favorite bets are rumored to be impossible. But nothing has ever intrigued him as much as the goddess offering him a bargain he can't resist. After her encounter with Hades, Persephone finds herself in contract with the god of the dead, and his terms are impossible. Persephone must create life in the underworld or lose her freedom forever. The bet does more than expose Persephone's failure as a goddess, however. As she struggles to sow the seeds of freedom, love for the god of the dead grows, a love that is both captivating and forbidden. Forbidden love. All right, this next one, this is another one that I saw the cover that drew me in for a book like second or third in the series. And so obviously I had to get the first one in this series before the second or the third because, again, got to test the writing. And this one is called Still Life by Louise Penny. And this one says, Chief Inspector Armand Gomachi and his team of investigators are called to the scene of a suspicious death in a rural village south of Montreal, and yet a world away. Jane Neal, a local fixture in the tiny hamlet of Three Pines, has been found dead in the woods on Thanksgiving morning. The locals are certain it's a tragic hunting accident and nothing more, but Gomachi smells something foul this holiday season. So, and it says that, so this is a debut. It says this is a debut novel, so. And that's all the synopsis that's on the back, and then it's just praise for this debut novel. Okay, next up, was the title and the cover for this one. Little Girls by Ronald Malfi. Says this is a ghost story. Little girls haunted by the past. That is a creepy cover. It says, after years away, Laurie returns to the home where she was raised by a cold, distant father who recently exorcised his demons. But no amount of cleaning can wipe away the troubled past. She feels it lurking in the broken moldings, sees it staring from an empty picture frame, hears it laughing in the moldy greenhouse deep in the woods. At first, Laurie thinks she's imagining things, but when she meets her daughter's new playmate, she notices her uncanny resemblance to another little girl who used to live next door, who died next door. With each passing day, Laurie's uneasiness grows stronger, her thoughts more disturbing. Like her father, is she slowly losing her mind? Or is something truly unspeakable happening? That sounds really good. Okay, next up, this is another cover by for me, and that is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, and this is a romance, and I think this gets pretty steamy. It says, he puts his hand against my chest. It's still beating, he whispers, and his words a soft kiss on my lips. As long as it's beating, you're okay. When Cora Lawson attends her sister's birthday party, she expects at most a hangover or a walk of shame by the end of it. She doesn't anticipate a stolen wallet, leaving her stranded and dependent on her sister's fiancé, Dean Asher, her arch nemesis and perpetual thorn in her side. And she usually doesn't anticipating getting knocked out and waking up chained in a madman's basement. Dean in his own shackles beside her. After 15 years of teasing, insults, and never-ending pranks, the ultimate joke seems to be on them. The two people who always thought they'd end up killing each other must now work together if they want to survive long enough to escape. But Cora and Dean don't know that their abductor has a plan for them, a plan that will alter the course of their relationship, blur the line between hate and love, and shackle them to each other long after they are freed from their chains. They're in this together, no matter what their unexpected bond might cost them. So, yeah. Okay, next I have another book by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and this is part of the Addicted series. This one is called Addicted for Now. So, this one says, no more sex. Those are the three words Lily Calloway fears the most, but Lauren Hale is determined to be with Lily without enabling her dangerous compulsions. With their new living situation, sleeping in the same bed, for real, together, Lily has new battles, like not jumping Lowe's bones every night, and not being consumed by sex and his body. Lauren plans to stay sober to right all of his wrongs. So when someone threatens to expose Lily's secret to her family and the public, he promises that he'll do anything to protect her. But with old enemies surfacing, Lowe has more at stake than his sobriety. And his worst fear isn't relapsing. He hears the end. He sees it. The one thing that could change everything. Just 3 words. No more us. So, Addicted for Now. Okay. Now, this next one I don't... Oh, there's the synopsis is in the front. Okay. Now this, I've heard that this is a really cute series, that people love the anime, they love the manga series, and that is Fruits Baskets by Natsuki Takaya. So, and this is actually a collector's edition, volume 1. And so I think in the regular Fruits Baskets, this is probably a combination of the first maybe 3, I'm guessing, with the size of this, three mangas. I'm not quite sure on that. So, but this is the collector's edition. And let's see, it says, after a family tragedy turns her life upside down, plucky high schooler Tohiro Honda takes matters into her own hands and moves out into a tent. Unfortunately for her, she pitches her new home on private landing belonging to the mysterious Shoma clan. And it isn't long before the owners discover her secret. But as Toru quickly finds out when the family offers to take her in, the Somas have a secret of their own. When embraced by the opposite sex, they turn into animals of the Chinese zodiac. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and that's all it says. And then it's like, this is just a fan favorite type of a thing. Okay, up next, complete cover by as usual for me. This is A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. There you go. There you can see that a bit better. It says, Mariel Spark is prophesied to be the most powerful witch seen in centuries of the famed Spark family, but to the displeasure of her mother, she prefers baking to brewing potions and gardening to casting hexes. When a spell to summon flower goes very wrong, Mariel finds herself staring down a demon, one she inadvertently summoned for a soul bargain. Ozroth, the Ruthless, is a legend among demons, powerful and merciless. He drives hard bargains to collect mortal souls, but his reputation has suffered ever since a bargain went awry. If he can strike one with Mariel, he will earn back his deadly reputation. Ozroth can't leave Mariel's side until they complete a bargain, which she refuses to do. Turns out some humans are attached to their souls. But the witch is funny and curvy, and distrustingly yet endearingly cheerful. Becoming awkward roommates quickly escalates when Mariel, terrified to confess the inadvertent summoning to her mother, blurts out that she's dating Ozroth. As Ozroth and Mariel struggle with their opposing goals and maintaining a fake relationship, real attraction blooms between them. But Ozroth has a limited amount of time to strike the deal, and if Mariel gives up her soul, she'll lose all her emotions, including love, which will only spell disaster for them both. Oh, that sounds like so cute. Okay, really excited for that one. I got another manga, this one by one of my favorite manga artists, and that is Junji Ito. This one is called Censor. Did she wander in, or was she drawn in? This one has artwork under the dust jacket. And this is what the hardback cover looks like. And the inside end pages. It's the same. Now I gotta make sure I have this the right way. Okay, so this is the front. Okay. Okay, this one says, a woman walks alone at the foot of Mount Sengoku. A man appears saying he's been waiting for her and invites her to a nearby village. Surprisingly, the village is covered in hair-like volcanic glass fibers, all shining bright gold. That night, as the villagers gaze up at the starry sky, countless unidentified flying objects come raining down on them, the opening act for the terror about to occur. So this sounds like it's one continuous story. It does not sound like this is a collection of short stories. Yeah, this is one book because it's listed in chapters. So, okay, good to know it's not a collection. So Junji Ito is horror manga, and I really like Junji Ito's work. Okay, this next one is the next book in a series I got because I read the first one and really wanted to know what happens next. And so this is book number 2 in the Broken Earth trilogy, and that is The Obelisk Gate. Now I'm a little nervous. I have heard a lot of people say it just kind of goes downhill after the first book, but that's all people's opinions, so I'll decide my own opinion when I read it for myself. The season of endings grows darker as civilization fades into the long, cold night. Isun has found shelter, but not her missing daughter. Instead, there is Alabaster Tenring, destroyer of the world, with a request that should seal the fate of the stillness forever. So, that's all that says. Okay, moving on, another book by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and this is Thrive. 2 years, one promise, stay together. 2 years will change them forever. When fake rumors spread like wildfire, like having 3 ways with her boyfriend's rock-climbing brother, Lily Calloway retreats to a dark place, her bedroom. Lauren Hill is more determined than ever to keep their sex life private, even from their friends, and he helps Lily in the only way he knows how. But how much love is too much? Their lives are filmed, watched, and criticized, and through it all, Lily and Lauren have to face enemies they never thought they'd see. Demons they don't know if they should bury, and setbacks they didn't think they'd meet. Not this soon. And one rumor could be too much for them to handle. It will test their greatest limitations, and if they don't hold on to each other, someone is going to drown. So, there we go. Okay, now this one is also by Krista and Becca Ritchie, but I do know this is part of the Calloway Sisters series, not the Addicted series. This one is Hothouse Flower. Reich Meadows met Daisy Calloway. She's all grown up. 25-year-old Reich Meadows knows he's hard to love. With a $1 billion inheritance, a track star resume, and an alpha male personality, he redefines the term likable asshole. But he is not living to make friends or enemies. He just wants to free climb 3 of the toughest mountains in Yosemite without drama or interruption. And then he receives a distressed call from a girl in Paris, a girl that he has never been allowed to have. Daisy Calloway is 18, finally. With her newfound independence, she can say goodbye to her overbearing mother and continue her modeling career. Next stop, Paris. Fashion Week begins with a bang, and Daisy uncovers the ugly reality of the industry. She wants to prove to her family that she can live on her own, but when everything spirals out of control, she turns to Reich to keep her secrets. As Daisy struggles to make sense of this new world and her freedom, she pushes the limits and fearlessly rides the edge. Reich knows there's deep hurt beneath every impulsive action. He must keep up with Daisy, and if he lets her go, her favorite motto, live as if I'll die today, might just come true. Sounds like there's a lot on the line in this one. Okay, the last 2 in this stack. This one I saw at a Barnes & Noble table, complete cover by, saw it, and then went back to Barnes & Noble, saw it again, didn't get it, and got it on the 3rd time because I just can't get this cover out of my mind. And that is The Only Purple House in Town by Anne Aguirre. I just love this cover. Let's see. Okay, Iris Collins is the messy one in her family, the Chaos Bunny. Her sisters are all wildly successful while she can't balance her budget for a single month. It's no wonder she's in debt to her roommates. When she unexpectedly inherits a house from her great aunt, her plan to turn it into a B&B fails, as most of her plans do. She winds up renting rooms like a Victorian spinster, collecting other lost souls, and not all of them are human. Eli Reese grew up as the nerdy outcast in school, but he got rich designing apps. Now he's successful by any standards, but he's never had the same luck in finding a real community or people who understand him. Over the years, he's never forgotten his first crush, so when he spots her at a cafe, he takes it as a sign. Except then he gets sucked into the Irisverse and somehow ends up renting one of her B&B rooms. As the days pass, Eli grows enchanted by the misfit boarders staying in the house, and even more so by Iris. Could Eli finally have found a person and a place to call home? This sounds just really sweet. Okay, this last one in this particular stack I won from Goodreads, and that is Fated to Love You. This is book number 1 in Chasing the Comet by Kayla Cunningham. So yeah, this one I won from Goodreads, and the author signed it. Okay, Cassandra Steele's passion for science opened doors to an incredible opportunity, a study abroad program in Columbus's Amazon rainforest. Still reeling from a devastating breakup, Cassie throws herself into research, convinced that love is not in the cards. However, fate has other plans. Enter Zhang, I don't know how to say the last name, a captivating fellow scientist who unexpectedly captures Cassie's heart. As they begin to explore their feelings for each other, they are forced to confront the harsh reality that their time together may be limited. With their time abroad coming to an end, Cassie undertakes a final humanitarian project, delivering school supplies to local children. But tragedy strikes when a devastating mudslide hits. Against all odds, Cassie and Zhang cling to the hope that their connection is more than mere chance, a result of a powerful twist of fate. Fate. All right, we are on the last stack. So I'm going to take these. Whoop. And these. Okay. Okay, so this first one is book number 3 in a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, and this one is The Wide Window. Let's see, dear reader, if you have not read anything about the Baudelaire orphans, then before you read even one more sentence, you should know this. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny are kind-hearted and quick-witted, but their lives, I'm sorry to say, are filled with bad luck and misery. All of the stories about these 3 children are unhappy and wretched, and the one you are holding may be the worst of them all. If you haven't got the stomach for a story that includes a hurricane, a signaling device, hungry leeches, cold cucumber soup, a horrible villain, and a doll named Pretty Penny, then this book will probably fill you with despair. I will continue to record these tragic tales, for that is what I do. You, however, should decide for yourself whether you can possibly endure this miserable story. By Lemony Snicket. So, and I think there's 12 or 13. I think there's 13 books in that series. So that's book number 3. Okay, all these next ones right here are by R.L. Stine. And these are, most are part of the Fear Street Super Chillers. So, this one is called Broken Hearts. This one says, roses are red, corpses are blue. On Valentine's Day, you'll die too. There's someone out there, someone who kills on Valentine's Day. Josie and Melissa are scared, especially when they receive threatening valentines. Then the murders begin. Who is sending these horrible valentines to the girls of Shadyside High, and who will be the next to die? The next super chiller I have is Party Summer. And this one says, time to party. Carrie Taylor and her 3 friends look forward to a party summer, working at the Howling Wolf Inn, an old hotel on a tiny island off Cape Cod. But to their dismay, that the hotel is completely deserted, and someone warns them to leave immediately. The mysterious owner, Simon Fear III, allows Carrie and her friends to stay, giving them the run of the hotel. The 4 teenagers are thrilled until they realize that they have been put up in the haunted wing, until Simon's weird and frightening brother appears, until they have a woman screaming, "No party, please, no party," until the walls and faucets begin to drip blood. When Simon Fear is murdered, Carrie and her horrified friends want out, but they can't escape. They're trapped on the island, and that's when the party begins. So, Party Summer. Okay, next up, I have The New Year's Party, another super chiller. Ring in the New Fear. PJ wasn't supposed to die. It was just a practical joke, no big deal. But PJ had a bad heart. The kids at Rainy's Christmas party couldn't tell the police what they'd done, so they hid the body, and then it disappeared. Now someone is killing them, one by one. Someone is taking PJ's revenge, but who? By midnight, they'll know, because when the clock chimes, they'll all get a kiss, the kiss of death. Okay, the next super chiller I have is The Dead Lifeguard, and it says, in too deep. The lifeguards at North Beach Country Club know they're lucky. While other kids are flipping burgers, they're sunning themselves by day and partying by night. So what if some people say the place is cursed, haunted, this is the life? And then, one by one, the lifeguards start to die horrible deaths. Someone or something evil is stalking them. They all know how to save other people's lives, but who will save theirs? The Dead Lifeguard. Okay, this next I am going to hold off for right now because it's part of a series. So, there's the first book in there. Okay. All right. This next book is called, and most of these super chillers you can read in any order. So this next one is called Bad Moonlight. I remember reading this one when I was younger and absolutely loved it. It says, she wasn't just crying wolf. Danielle Verona can't believe the band picked her to be their new lead singer. She's on the road, performing at all the hot clubs. The adoring fans, the bright lights, it's a dream come true. But when nighttime falls, Danielle can feel the terror in the darkness. There's eerie howling outside her window, and then a band member is killed, ripped to shreds by a wild animal. Danielle knows something is out there lurking in the moonlight, something savage and hungry. Bad Moonlight. Okay. Next, now this is part of a duology, so I'm only going to read the first we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to read the second, but I'll find out in a second here. So this first one is called Goodnight Kiss. Another super chiller by R.L. Stine, and this one says, A Kiss to Die For. Matt, his girlfriend April, and his best friend Todd look forward to a summer of sun and fun at the beach. But as dark shadows flutter over the sand, they soon find themselves plunged into a horrifying world of endless night. What's happened to April and Todd? Matt wonders, why are they so pale, so weak, so changed? The twin puncture wounds on their throats give Matt a clue. The menacing bats hovering over the beach offer another. April has been lured away by the kisses of another boy. Strange, intoxicating kisses that leave her weak, hungering for more. The kisses of a vampire. Can Matt rescue April in time? Only he realizes that her next goodnight kiss may be her last. So Goodnight Kiss. Now this next one is called Goodnight Kiss 2. Another super chiller. I am going to read the synopsis because it follows different characters. It says, vampires are stalking the small resort town of Sandy Hollow. Billy knows it. His girlfriend was one of the victims last summer. Now Billy is back and he wants revenge. His friends don't believe him, but nobody can explain the bodies found on the beach, with 2 puncture holes in the neck, or the swarms of bats that appear each night. The undead are here, and Billy is going to beat them or join them. So, okay. Next, I have part of a series, and I'm expecting more to come in, but they won't be in until like September. And this first one is called Cheerleaders, the First Evil. Now, this one is not a super chiller. It's just part of the Cheerleaders series. So, and this is called Give Me a DIE. Newcomers Corky and Bobby Corcoran want more than anything to make the cheerleading squad at Shadyside High. But as soon as the Corcoran sisters are named to the team, terrible things happen to the cheerleaders. The horror starts when a mysterious accident near the Fear Street Cemetery. Soon after, piercing screams echo through the empty school halls, and then the ghastly murders begin. Can Corky and Bobby stop the killer before the entire cheerleading squad is destroyed? Now this one, I will not read the synopsis of the following books in the series because Corky and Bobby it follows the same characters. I have not read the entire series, but I have read the first 3. So we have Cheerleaders, the Second Evil, and Cheerleaders, the Third Evil. Oh god, that's a fuzzy, not a spider. Okay, good. And then this one is the super chiller, and that is Cheerleaders, the New Evil. Again, same characters. So, and then there's another one called The Evil Lives. I do have that one ordered, but I'm not expecting that one till September. Finally got that one on a good price. Okay, this next one, there is a third in this. This one's part of a series, and I think these are all part of the super chiller world. So I'll only read, let me see. Yes, so this one's going to follow the same characters, so I'm only going to read the synopsis of the first one. So this first one is called Silent Night. This one I do remember reading and loving. It says, don't open that present. If only Riva Dalby had listened to that warning. But beautiful, cold Riva won't listen to anyone. Riva thinks she can have whatever and whoever she wants. After all, her daddy owns Dalby department stores. Now, someone has some surprises in store for her. Robbery, terror, even murder. Someone wants to treat Riva to a holiday she'll never forget. Holiday cheer quickly turns to holiday chills for Riva. Someone is stalking her. Someone is trying to get to her. Her money can't help her. No one can. After all, who can you turn to when murders come gift-wrapped? And then Silent Night 2 is the second one in the series, and then there is a Silent Night 3 that's on its way, but I'm not expecting that until September. All right, this next one is book 2 in the City of Sisterly Love series. The first one did get spicy. This one is Dr. Harley. So this follows different characters compared to the first one, but it is still recommended to read them in order because of the interweaving characters. This one says, my name is Harley Lawrence. All I've ever wanted was to become a doctor. I've sacrificed so much to get here. 3 years ago, during a difficult time in my life, I did something uncharacteristically reckless. I spent a wild night with a handsome stranger. I wanted the evening left in the past, refusing to even give him my name. When the first day of medical school came around, much to surprise, that stranger was my professor. Our mutual attraction is undeniable, but the circumstances are not ideal. I won't become a cliché, the girl that needs to sleep with her professor to get by. I had to push him away, but I never forgot him. He never forgot me either. And now he's back in my life with he's my boss, and he won't take no for an answer. I'm trying to fight my feelings. I don't know how much longer I can resist him. So, yeah. Okay, these next ones are all by Willow Winters, and they do get spicy. Willow has said so herself. And these are all part of the Discreet series, which means you can't tell by looking at the cover what they are about or even that they are romance. So, on the Discreet series, I did opt for the ones with the numbers that is in publication order, but you do not have to read them in publication order. You can read them in any order. Obviously, there's one that it's like if it's part of the same world and follows the same characters, it will say that this is, you know, like part 3, part 2, whatever it is. But this one, so the back, it just says it's the Discreet series, nothing there. The front is the name of the male main lead and the main female lead. So this one is Vince and Ellie. And then with the Discreet series, there is the actual title is on the inside as well as the synopsis. So this one title is called His Hostage. Okay. And it says, this is a hot mafia standalone. I was innocent before him, and he wanted nothing more than to ruin my life. And if I'm honest, I wanted him too, even knowing I shouldn't. I knew he was a bad man. It didn't take more than a single look to know it. Dark eyes and a charming smile that's made to fool girls like me. Still, I caved. I gave into temptation. And then I saw something I shouldn't have. Wrong place, wrong time. The mafia doesn't let witnesses simply walk away. Regret has a name, and it's Vincent Valetti. He won't let them kill me, but he's not going to let me go either. Yeah, so Vince and Ellie. This next one is number 11 in the publication order. Again, you can read these in any order. And this one is following Xander and Ariana. This was written by not only by Willow Winters, but also by Lauren Landish. So, dual author on this one. And the title of this book is Given. Okay. It says, this is a sexy forbidden series of standalone romances. I knew she'd ruin me, but I wanted her anyway. I was born into wealth, and my name comes with a reputation. One I've upheld and leveraged for power. Now everyone owes me, and I plan to keep it that way. Until she's offered to me. Only for a single month to repay a debt. Her tempting curves call to me and beg me to risk it all. I shouldn't take her. I shouldn't even consider his offer. Women like her bring men to their knees. But there's something in her baby blues. They're haunted, but what lies behind them? Oh, they're haunted by what lies behind them. She sees through me, leaving me nowhere to hide. I knew taking her would destroy me, but it only took one taste. Now I'm addicted, and I'm not giving her back. So that's all I can do for this haul because the battery is flashing, and this does not come with a separate battery. So I have to charge the camera. I'm going to charge it overnight, and then tomorrow I will come back and I will tell you about the rest of this haul, so the rest of these books. So stay tuned. Obviously for you, this will be less than 30 seconds, so like half a second. So I'll be back obviously tomorrow, so I will be in a different outfit and we will finish this haul for August. As I said, it is another day because I had to charge my camera, so let's go ahead and finish up this book haul. Okay, so this next Discreet book has the character names of Dean and Allison, still by Willow Winters. It's the back. I need to move this stack to the side a little bit. Okay, so the actual title is It's Our Secret. And this is an emotionally gripping romantic suspense. It was only a little lie. That's how stories like these get started. With every lie I told, he saw right through me. I think in his heart he knew I was broken. He felt my pain as if it was his. And that's what changed everything. He's the reason it all fell apart. Sometimes it's a single moment that alters everything in existence. Sometimes it's the certain reaction of falling, or it's the chain reaction of falling dominoes, lined up in pretty little rows and designed so that each one will cause more and more pain as it topples. In a single day, everything changed, and there's no way to go back. I didn't know what would happen. Secrets and lies ruin everything, and I should have known better. For the first time in I don't know how long, I wish I could take it back. I'd take everything, every bit of it back if I could just be with him again. So it's Our Secret, featuring Dean and Allison. Okay, and this final discreet book that I have, hi Ophelia. Okay, so this next one is Asher and Brianna. So again, nothing on the front and back. The actual title for Asher and Brianna is A Little Bit Dirty. So, let's see. It says a second chance with a filthy mouth possessive hero not willing to lose the love of his life again. Yes. You may hear her meow. Okay. I've got a thing for men who work with their hands. I thought I'd learned my lesson by now, but here I am, back in the small town I grew up in, staring down the man who broke my heart years ago. I intended to tell him off. My plan was to flip him the bird and prove to both of us that he hadn't ruined me. I sure as hell wasn't going to sleep with him. Until he tells me he's sorry. Until he gives me that smoldering look I still dream about. Until he whispers just beneath the shell of my ear, his breath trails down my neck, and he leaves an open-mouthed kiss right there in that sensitive spot. You have no idea how much I've missed you. My treacherous heart wants more. More of him, more of us. But there's a reason it didn't work before, and when you don't learn from your past mistakes, you're bound to repeat them. Isn't that the truth? So, okay. All right, so that's the last of those ones. Next, this book I got in a special edition Once Upon a Book Club. So this is one that I bought because I saw it was a special edition book. So I bought the box. I did not resubscribe to it monthly, so I just gifted myself this box. And this is What Remains. And you can flip it upside down, and the author is Wendy Walker. So, the back cover just has a quote. It says, what remains inside of us is uncertain, unknown, unfamiliar, unruly. What remains inside of me now, I haven't even begun to investigate. And then the covers have the computer coding that has the letters and the numbers. So, top and bottom.
From IllinoisGalway.com. Enter the
Computer,
numbers.
stop. And then the cover, front cover, it says, she saved his life, now he'll never let her go. So she saved his life, now he'll never let her go. And that's what it looks like without the dust jacket. So, Detective Elise Sutton is drawn to cold cases. Each crime is a puzzle to solve, pulled from the past. Elise looks for cracks in the surface and has become an expert on how murderers slip up and give themselves away. She has dedicated her life to creating a sense of order. At work with her ex-Marine partner, at home with her husband and 2 young daughters, and within battling her own demons. Elise has everything under control until one afternoon when she walks into a department store and is forced to make a terrible choice. To save one life, she will have to take another. Elise is hailed as a hero, but she doesn't feel like one. Steeped in guilt and on a leave of absence from work, she's numb, even to her husband and daughters, until she connects with Wade Austin, the tall man whose life she saved. But Elise soon realizes that he isn't who he says he is. In fact, Wade Austin isn't even his real name. The tall man is a ghost. one who will set off a terrifying game of cat and mouse, threatening Elise and the people she loves most. So, yep, what remains? Okay, now this next book I'm about to show you is one that I received a notification on Amazon about a special edition book that I could pre-order, and so I didn't read the synopsis. It was beautiful, and so I pre-ordered it. I have since looked at Goodreads, and it looks like this is going to get spicy, so just be aware of that. So this is in a slipcase. Dark Prince Road is what it says on the spine, which you can't really see. Let's see. You will forever be my perfect dark Romeo. So there's your hint. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. Mr. and Mrs. Costa. Okay, that's the slipcase. Here's the back. Some Romeos deserve to die. This is by Parker S. Huntington and L.J. Shen, and it is called My Dark Romeo. Sprayed edges or stenciled edges. These are, you know, those old-fashioned paintings with like the naked people or with the blanket draped over them and the angels. That's the part of the stenciling. It's hard to see because of the shading and just how it's just one color, but it's various shades of the one color, so it is hard to tell. Here are the end pages. You can see better. So it's like the stenciled edges are just like this. So what you're seeing here is on the stenciled edges, obviously just smaller. Same on the front. Look at that. This is just absolutely gorgeous. You're my favorite plot twist is what it says on the back. And some of these pages, the pages in here are black. So it comes with a ribbon. And let me find a black page, which is this page 1 of every chapter. So every chapter starts out like that. Okay. It was supposed to be a harmless kiss at a lavish debutante ball, a clandestine moment with a handsome stranger. But unlike his namesake, my Romeo isn't driven by love. He's fueled by revenge. To him, I'm a chess piece, leverage, his rival's betrothed. To me, he is a man deserving of poison, a dark prince I refuse to marry. He thinks I'll accept my fate when I plan to rewrite it. And in my story, Juliet doesn't die, but Romeo, he perishes. So, Romeo and Juliet retelling. I'm trying to get that ribbon, there we go, in there. So yes. Now to get this back in its slipcase. Okay, so there's that one. Next up, this was a complete cover buy from Barnes & Noble, and this one is called Dead Water by C.A. Fletcher. It's just drew me in. I'm like, ooh, what the heck? Okay. Anyway, okay, so the synopsis states, on the edge of the North Atlantic lies a remote Scottish isle. The residents are a mix of those born and bred on the land, and newcomers seeking a slower, quieter way of life, away from the modern world. All have their own secrets, some much darker than others. And when a strange waterborne blight begins to infect them all, those secrets come to light. So this is a pandemic infection disease type thing. Rumors claim the blight may be a case of mass hysteria, or even a long buried curse. Ferry service fails, phone towers go down, and slowly inconvenience transforms into nightmarish ordeal as the outwardly harmonious fabric of the community is irreversibly torn apart. That sounds really good. Okay, I'm going to set that in the other pile because I'm planning on hopefully getting to that for one of the many readathons I am hoping to participate in the month of September. Okay, this next book is the book for the September Autism Reads. So Discord is always in the description box if you want to join us. There's not a lot of activity on it, but there's not a lot of us on there. So just, do be aware of that. But I would love more people to join so it can be more active as well. But the selection for August is House Rules by Jodi Picoult. So this does have autism rep in it. Jodi Picoult is not autistic, but I think she drew the inspiration from a family member that is autistic. And I don't remember the relation of the family member, if it's her nephew or something like that. I don't know. Jacob Hunt is a teen with Asperger's syndrome, and we don't use Asperger's anymore because it is tied with the Nazis. So this was obviously written before we stopped and phasing out that term. Let's see. He's hopeless at reading social cues or expressing himself well to others, though he is brilliant in many ways. But he has a special focus on one subject: forensic analysis. See, and I find that fascinating. I wanted to go into law enforcement and do something with forensic and all that, but I just don't have it in me. I just would have a very hard time, especially with knowing that I'd have to go to court and testify on the findings and stuff. I couldn't do it, so I didn't do that. But it is fascinating. I love watching shows about that. Anyway, okay, moving on. A police scanner in his room clues him into crime scenes, and he's always showing up and telling the cops what to do, and he's usually right. But when Jacob's small hometown is rocked by a terrible murder, law enforcement comes to him. Jacob's behaviors are hallmark Asperger's, but they look a lot like guilt to the local police. Suddenly, the Hunt family, who only want to fit in, are directly in the spotlight. For Jacob's mother, Emma, it's a brutal reminder of the intolerance and misunderstanding that always threaten her family. For his brother, Theo, it's another indication why nothing is normal because of Jacob. And over this small family, the soul-searing question looms: did Jacob commit murder? So, it sounds good. Hopefully the representation is good. Okay, these next 4 books arrived yesterday. And going along with the Autism Reads, I don't remember the order these are going to be in, but these are the selections for October, November, and December. Again, I don't remember the order they're in, but actually I can look it up right now on the Discord. So let me do that. I'm going to pull Discord up and go to Autism Reads. Okay, so we'll do this in order. So October's selection for Autism Reads is Best Boy by Eli Gottlieb. It says, okay. Audaciously told through the perfectly realized first-person voice of Todd Aaron, a middle-aged autistic man whose rejiggered perceptions contain within them a deeply original intelligence. Best Boy limbs in fiction the crisis of our nation faces in real life. Living a therapeutic community for autism since 11, Todd's daily life and routine are suddenly upended by the arrival of a menacing new staffer, a disruptive roommate, and a one-eyed new resident with romantic intentions. Undone by these pressures, Todd attempts to escape to return home to a childhood that now inhabits only his dreams. So, not 100% sure what that's about, but that's the selection. Okay. For November, it is, and when I set up Autism Reads for this year, it was very last minute, and so I was trying to hurry and find the books, and it turns out a lot of these were middle grade or younger readers. So for 2024, I am going to make more of an effort to, one, focus on autistic authors. That is the focus. It does not have to have autism rep in the book, but I do want the authors to be autistic. That is the requirement. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate middle grade, young adult, adult. Okay. I'm not sure what order I'll do that in. If I'll start with adult and then do YA and then middle grade to end like December on a middle grade, or adult. I'm not sure which one. Anyway, so this next one for November is A Kind of Spark, written by Ellie McNoll. Ever since Miss Murphy told us about the witch trials that happened centuries ago right here in Juniper, I can't stop thinking about them. If I were one of those women, I would want someone to remember me. I'm autistic. I see things that others do not. I hear sounds that they can ignore, and sometimes I feel things all at once. Ain't that the truth? I won't let the witches be forgotten, because there is more to their story, just like there is more to mine. So, yep. And then, so that's November, and then December is Mockingbird. This was written by Catherine Erskine, I'm guessing is how that is said. Good and strong and beautiful. 10-year-old Caitlin's world has always been black and white. Anything else was confusing, but her brother Devin helped her understand. Then tragedy struck, and now nothing makes sense. As a girl with Asperger's syndrome, Caitlin turns to what she does know, textbooks and dictionaries, and after reading the definition of closure, she realizes that this is what everyone needs. In her search for closure, she discovers that black and white are surrounded by shades of gray, and that those are beautiful and necessary for healing. So some kind of loss. I'm hoping it's not her brother Devin. So, okay, and this last book that arrived yesterday is, I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and it just always sounds good. I'm always intrigued. So I finally got it because it was on sale, and that is Bunny by Mona Awad. So, whoop, dropped it. A scholarship student who prefers the company of her dark imagination to that of most people, Samantha Heather McKay is utterly repelled by the rest of her graduate fiction writing cohort at New England's elite Warren University, a clique of unbearably saccharine yet sinister rich girls who call each other Bunny and seem to move and speak as one. But everything changes when Samantha receives an invitation to the Bunny's fabled smut salon and finds herself inexplicably drawn to their front door, ditching her only friend, Ava, in the process. As Samantha plunges deeper and deeper into the Bunny's world and begins to take part in their monstrous experiments, the edges of reality begin to blur. Soon her friendships with Ava and the Bunnies will be brought into deadly collision. So it sounds good, and I've heard great things about it. And so I've just been intrigued for a while now, and so I thought I'm going to go ahead and do it. So that's it. Let me know if you have read any of these books. Again, the Discord is going to be linked in every video that I do for Autism Reads, as well as my Goodreads channel and my Instagram if you want to follow me on either of those platforms. So yes, let me know if you've read from any of these authors, if you've read any of these books. Talk to me in the comment section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.